everyone, this is Paul Gale from PaulGaleNetwork.com, and thank you for joining me today for video game news. It is August 17th, 2020, and let's get rolling with today's news and updates. First off, as you can see here, we've got an announcement from Nintendo that will be happening tomorrow morning, and that is an Indie World presentation. It says the next Indie World showcase is headed your way. Tune in on Tuesday, August 18th at 9 a.m. Pacific time for roughly 20 minutes of information on indie games coming to Nintendo Switch. Watch it here tomorrow, and they provide a link, indieworld.nintendo.com. Now, this is pretty cool because this just came out of nowhere, much like the previous Nintendo partnership presentation. The last one that we got was short. It was third-party focused, but still kind of interesting. You know, we got Cadence of Hyrule update out of there, and that was unexpected, so that was pleasant. This isn't the grand Nintendo Direct that we've all been waiting for so long. No, it's not that. Hopefully that's in the works, though, you know. We did hear from Nintendo a couple of weeks ago in the last presentation that more presentations were on their way, similar to it. Now, does that mean that we're going to get more third-party stuff or not, or just more things in general? That remains to be seen. But at the very least, we have an Indie World coming up. The last Nintendo Direct, though, was September 4th, and you gotta think, like, it's been a while. It's coming up on a year. Would they really go beyond 1 year of having an official Nintendo Direct? I suppose Nintendo could do whatever they wanted to do, and it's not all bad necessarily. I mean, we're so used to having such a good flow of Nintendo news in these awesome big presentations, because usually there are a couple of Nintendo Directs a year and a bunch of other little things. This year's been different, though. Yeah, we've had Animal Crossing news updates, Pokemon, a couple of Indie Worlds, third-party little presentations, some shadow drops of, all right, here's Paper Mario the Origami King, a brand new game that we didn't tell you about before. That's coming out in 2 months. Here's Pikmin 3 Deluxe, game that you didn't know was in development for Nintendo Switch, being ported from Wii U, coming in a couple of months. So you look at it, like, there's still a pretty cool amount of flow, you know? Here's Nintendo and Levi's partnering up. Here's Nintendo and Lego partnering up for the Mario collection. Here's Nintendo and Lego partnering up again for the NES with the TV, you know, that you build. So overall, you look at it, it's still a good amount of news and updates, plus Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Nintendo's always talking to its fans, but what we really want is the Direct. But that's okay. For now, we've got an Indie World coming tomorrow, so I'm excited. Next up, this actually got dropped yesterday, but we'll watch it right now. And that is Master Roshi coming to Dragon Ball FighterZ. This is a really good game, by the way. Yeah, that's it. I just thought I'd share that because yesterday was August 16th when Bandai Namco revealed the trailer, but, you know, we're tuning into it today. And I'm looking forward to playing as Master Roshi. I think he's cool. He's a funny character. Pervy old man. But that's his charm. Kefla was already announced and has been available for months now. And she's a lot of fun to use. Ultra Instinct Goku, of course, is awesome. That's the farthest that Goku has come along in his evolution, even though that's not quite an evolution, but regardless, fun game. And this title oftentimes pops up on sale on the eShop and on other platforms. I, in particular, play this game most often on Nintendo Switch, and I actually also have it on Xbox One X, so I have it on both platforms. But solid title. If you get it for $60, I think it's still worth it. But if it drops to $15 and you see it on the Xbox Store or PlayStation Network, or see it on a Steam sale or eShop, check it out for $15. If you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, Dragon Ball Super fan, and you don't own this game yet, unless if you really just don't like fighting games, which is possible, I recommend it because you've got online play, you got a fun versus mode, you have cool 3-on-3 battles, you have a little story to go along with it with lots of voice acting, plenty of stages, plenty of characters, especially now with DLC. Worth it. But anyways, that was fun. Next up, something that I wanted to talk about was this redacted thing from WB. Now, what is it? Well, what it is a tease for tomorrow, right here on August 18th. You look at this long enough, you scramble it out, you pause, or you rewind, you play, and you come up with something like this. We have been expecting you. 8/18. This is WB Games' new title that they've been teasing for a while, and that is the Batman and the Court of Owls project of theirs. I'm looking forward to it. You know, when people think great high-quality Batman games, usually Rocksteady comes up, because Rocksteady did do a great job with Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight. But Arkham Origins, done by WB Games, was still a fine title, and I'd like to see, with more maturity as a studio and a lot of time that has passed since they handled that game, what is this one going to be like? You know, how good could they have gotten? The Court of Owls storyline was really neat in the comics, and that is that, you know, Bruce Wayne discovers that in his own city, in Gotham, all these years of him knowing it that well, there actually is much to it that he's not aware of. There's a secret group, the Court of Owls, and I remember reading the comics, and then something in particular was a building that he went through many times, finding a secret floor hidden within, and how his detective mind wrapped around how this could be, because you look at it from the outside, you see the windows, you see the spaces, you know, here's floor 12, for instance, here's floor 13, how could there be something in between? Discovers this, how deep is it just rumors? And then, you know, he gets kidnapped and he goes through tortures kind of thing, goes through a maze. I don't want to spoil too much because I don't know how closely WB Games is going to follow to the comics, but I imagine they're going to loosely base it off of it and then really expand. So we're probably going to get a pretty cool Batman game. So I'm kind of stoked for that. And speaking of Batman, I was going to save this one for last, but the fandom event is coming up soon. Now, unrelated to WB Games, this is Rocksteady's new project. And we've known about this for a little while now. This is the official poster reveal that they had out. But the DC Fandom event is this Saturday, August 22nd at 5:10 p.m. DC Fandom's going to have a lot of things going on in it. But one of the things that I'm most looking forward to is the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game. Could this be, you know, a really epic continuation of the world building that Rocksteady created with the trilogy of Batman games, you know, during this previous console generation and the last, since, you know, Arkham City began earlier, and Arkham Asylum, yeah. Only Arkham Knight really was this generation title. But anyways, could it be expanding in that world? It's that world's Batman. It's that world's Superman that we got to learn kind of through little hints in Arkham Knight. Or is this its own new thing? Is it going to be multiplayer? Will it be, you know, you and other members joining up as Suicide Squad and taking part in online missions, mission-based structure? to fight members of the Justice League, really trying to kill Superman and Batman and all this kind of stuff. Uh, will it be this grand story with that type of multiplayer aspect to it? Or is it going to be a games as a service type title with some story involved, but more on character development in terms of powering up, leveling up, RPG kind of style, and less story driven, less world driven? I don't know. It's going to be exciting, but we're going to find that out really soon. I just thought I'd throw that in there today because I'm kind of pumped up. In 5 days, we should see something. Will it be a full-on trailer? I don't know. Now, tomorrow morning's Batman and the Court of Owls, or whatever that game ends up officially being called, that I expect to see a trailer. But for Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, could just be more information, but could be a trailer as well. We'll see. And the last bit of news is also something that just went down but now is gone, and that is Amazon UK's page just over the weekend revealed that The Legend of Zelda The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword is coming out for Nintendo Switch. Now, was this an accidental placeholder? Possibly. You can't find it now. Now, if you type it in, if you use old links, it doesn't go to that page anymore. You see now, you've got Twilight Princess on Wii, you've got Skyward Sword on Wii as well, but if you look up Skyward Sword Nintendo Switch, it doesn't exist. You can still find, other Zelda games on other Nintendo platforms, remakes, HD ports, etc., but not this one on the Nintendo Switch listing anymore. So what happened? Could it have accidentally be leaked out sooner than they were supposed to, or is it just an honest mistake? Somebody put it up as an entry and Nintendo has no intention of releasing this title. I don't know. I want to believe in the former. I want to believe that someone at Amazon UK accidentally put up this news a little bit too soon, which leads me to talk about the possibility of a Nintendo Direct coming up. We started this discussion today with Nintendo Direct, us not having one in almost 1 year, and it would be really nice to see one soon. And in addition to something like Super Mario 35th Anniversary being a good possibility to show off at said Nintendo Direct, something like by the way, next year in 2021, it'll be someone else's 35th anniversary. Enjoy. And then we get to see like a little Breath of the Wild 2 footage, some more announcements to come, but one more thing. Boom. Skyward Sword from Wii coming out on Nintendo Switch as The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. I liked this game personally. I thought the first half was good, but the next half was great. In particular, the last third of the game I thought was fantastic. Typical high quality, high tier Zelda. Last third, including the last boss, just fantastic. But overall, still a great game in my opinion. I think more people need to play it than did. It still sold several million, but Zelda has gotten bigger now thanks to Breath of the Wild. I think this game on a big, powerful platform like Nintendo Switch that's just being gobbled up by casual fans, being gobbled up by hardcore gamers, by lapsed gamers, PC gamers that want a second system, even people with another platform like the Xbox One or PlayStation 4 that either view Nintendo Switch as their second platform, or maybe, it's become their first and foremost, most used system this generation. A lot of people are playing Switch. A lot of people want it. A lot of people are being introduced to Zelda. Breath of the Wild is the best-selling Zelda game of all time. Skyward Sword was a good game, but like I said, it came out November 2011. That's 5 years into Wii's lifespan, which also means that it's 6 years into the, at the time, HD era of Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. So people at that point were already accustomed to 5-6 years worth of HD visuals, seeing 720p as a standard. Yes, Wii was a successor, both literally and visually, to GameCube, but it was a little bit more powerful than GameCube. Its games looked a little bit more polished. It did have more RAM, it did have more computing power, but not that big of a leap. So for a lot of folks, seeing Skyward Sword, they're looking at a game that's could be thrown into, visually speaking, 2002 to 2007, and not the final games coming out on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 in 2011 before their successors come out just a couple of years later, you know? So visually speaking, a lot of people were tired with that look of 480p in terms of resolution and that visual fidelity of graphics, even though the game had a nice art style. But I think that it could really shine on Nintendo Switch. What also limited it in some ways was the fact that it required Wii Motion Plus or the Wii Remote Plus. Now I thought it was cool. Like, you know, I was up there oftentimes finding myself standing, playing the game. That's how I beat the last boss, by the way. I was standing in the living room. My friend was watching me holding the holding the nunchuck in my left hand, Wii Remote in the right hand, going around. Like, I had the same type of fun playing this game in the finale as I did with Twilight Princess when it launched on Wii back in 2006. But that's just me. But that also means that a lot of people didn't experience it, not just because I'm over that type of graphics, but they just didn't have a Wii Remote Plus or Wii Motion Plus. There were versions of the game that were bundled with this nice gold Wii Remote Plus. That's the one that I got. Also came with a cool soundtrack CD. But if you look at the sales, you look at the time of release, you look at what it required, some people thought, you know, motion control gaming was a blessing because it allowed for people without finite motion controls, thumb controls in their hands, the ability to play. But some people looked at it as, too intrusive. I just want my gaming to be sitting on the couch chilling and relaxing. I don't want to be moving around. So you have some Zelda fans that didn't play this game. We've got some people that didn't like the fact that you had to have motion controls to play this game. Some people that were over the Wii era and that style of graphics play this game. So a few good categories of people didn't try it out. I think if Nintendo could figure out the motion controls, whether it's using dual analogs, using a little bit of controls for certain actions with the Joy-Cons or the Pro Controller or the Nintendo Switch itself, handheld mode, portable mode, whatever, you could probably find a way to lightly incorporate motion controls. Maybe figure out a way to do it without at all. Eiji Aonuma said it would be almost impossible to convert the game, but I think there's money on the table right there. I think that if they could figure out a way how to minimize the amount of motion controls, find a way to make it work with, you know, Pro Controller, Joy-Cons, portable mode, tabletop mode, whatever on Nintendo Switch, or completely come up with a way to take it out altogether, this game would be a 10 million seller on Nintendo Switch. Update the visuals, 1080p, 60 frames per second, pretty up the graphics, you know, add in some more textures, increase the polygon count, of course, have it run in 1080p. I think you got a 10 million seller. I don't know. But I guess that's what we ended up using as our final talk for today. Thank you for joining me. I plan on doing this again. This has been fun. Let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions, if you want to further talk about anything that we discussed today. Questions, comments are all appreciated. Thank you for watching, everybody. This is Paul Gale from paulgalenetwork.com signing out. Hope you all have a good one for the rest of your August 17th. Bye.